Hey, Paul, this is your buddy Steve Scalise. I just want to congratulate you on 4 great years leading the Western Caucus. I've loved being a member of the Western Caucus and the things that we've done to stand up for those states, especially where the federal government has so much land and was stopping Western states from just enjoying the natural resources that they have. Paul's been a leader on so many fronts, but I know recently he helped us take on China, standing up with President Trump so that China can be held accountable and we can bring some of those rare earth minerals back to the United States, developing those natural resources on Western lands. And then, of course, just an all of the above energy strategy that's allowed us to be independent, to make more of our own energy. Paul, your leadership has been tremendous for the Western Caucus. Hope you enjoy having a little bit of free time now that you won't have this gig, but we're going to keep you engaged on these great issues. Loved working with you, buddy.
Hi, I'm Congressman Andy Biggs from Arizona's 5th Congressional District. When I first entered the United States House of Representatives almost 4 years ago, one of the first caucuses I joined was the Congressional Western Caucus under the leadership of a new chairman, Paul Gosar, from my home state of Arizona. Since becoming chairman, Paul has transformed the caucus into one of the most vibrant, effective caucuses on Capitol Hill. He and his staff work seamlessly with the Trump administration to get things done for the Western states. Thanks to Chairman Gosar's leadership, many of the onerous, job-killing regulations from the Obama administration were neutralized or overturned. And Chairman Gosar led the Western Caucus to work with the Trump administration to pass meaningful and beneficial reforms and policies for the future of Western states. The next chairman of this caucus has big shoes to fill. I'm grateful to have been able to serve with my friend and my colleague in this caucus. His constituents should be very pleased with his efforts on their behalf in this body and in this caucus. Thank you, Chairman Paul Gosar.
Hey, Paul, thanks for your great leadership on Western Caucus. You've done a wonderful job of putting field hearings together, of being a voice for the issues that we all care about. I just wanted to say thank you for your service. It's great to serve with you and look forward to many years of future service.
I want to thank Paul Gosar for his tremendous leadership as chairman of the Western Caucus. I learned so much from my time being a member of the Western Caucus. It's helped me be a better member for my congressional district. I learned a lot about the forest fires. I traveled out west to California to see up close and personal what the problem was and to listen to Paul Gosar's solution to the problem. I think if the leaders in California and the leaders in the Western states and the leaders in Congress would listen to Paul Gosar and do what he says, I don't think we'd have the same amount of forest fires that we currently see over there. And so many issues that are important to Western states. Paul Gosar's been the lead voice in that. So I appreciate his leadership as chairman, and we're going to miss him as chairman, but I'm very blessed that he's still on my House Oversight Committee. He's the senior member of the Oversight Committee and knows as much about government oversight as anyone, and he's made a difference on that committee, and I'm glad that I get the opportunity to work with him on the Oversight Committee in the future.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my good friend Paul for his service. Paul, you may not remember this, but you were the very first phone call when I won my election 3 years ago. And as part of that, you invited me to be part of the Western Caucus, and that was an easy decision. Thank you for all your hard work, and best of luck to you.
One of the things I've loved about having Paul, in charge of the Western Caucus is he was always available, sometimes for some very odd questions, for those of us who have a suburban district, to reach out and try to understand what was happening, particularly for us in the rural Southwest. Paul, I'm going to miss being able to call you all the time.
Representative Gosar, thank you very much for your effort into the Western Caucus. You've brought us forward in such a great way, and I just appreciate your steadfast leadership. The Western Caucus is in good hands because of leadership such as yourself. So thank you all very much. Bye-bye.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize my friend and colleague, Congressman Paul Gosar, on 4 years of incredible leadership as chairman of the Western Caucus. Paul, the fact that your name has become synonymous with the Western Caucus is a credit to your amazing work. As chairman, you've stood up for state and local governments across the country, defended property rights, and driven tangible results for communities in the West. I want to personally thank you for your work to support farmers and ranchers' rights to defend their land against the gray wolf, your tireless work to overturn the harmful Obama-era WOTUS rule, and of course, your critical defense of mining in northern Minnesota. Your support was instrumental to ending the Obama-era bans on mining. All of these efforts have helped safeguard our Minnesotan way of life. Thank you again for a great 4 years.
I think about the great work you did assembling the ESA reforms, leading the charge for updating NEPA, getting rid of the waters of the U.S. rule. We were able to get delisting of the gray wolf, really emphasize the importance of hydro and smart fisheries and better forest management. And it's not an easy task, as we all know, and you were a terrific leader to help get the Western Caucus to a new level of impact and influence. And I want to thank you for your service. Oregon, Arizona, the West, all our rural communities are better off because you led the Western Caucus. Thanks, Paul.